What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Conium, and the All-Star break is here after today already. It's the last day of the MLB's first half. The Home Run Derby is tomorrow, I think, or there's an off day, and then the Derby. I don't know. Today's the last day of baseball until the All-Star break, and that is very hard to believe. They're already halfway through this season. I'm decked out in the Jays gear. This is the All-Star Game 2017. I might need to get a new All-Star Game hat this year. I really like the jerseys, too. The All-Star Game jerseys might have to wait till those go on sale and grab one of those. But we're guaranteed a winning week. So we had a crappy week. If this I don't know why this light is flickering. My LED light is flickering. I apologize if you're watching that. We had a crappy week last week, down I think 5 units, but we've guaranteed at minimum a 1-unit win this week because of another 2-in-1 day yesterday. Every day has been a winning day. So we're up 3.8 units, 4 units. Which means that even if we lose all 3 of these bets today, we will have a winning week. So yesterday we had the Boston Red Sox on the run line. They beat Oakland 10-3. We had the Hamilton Tiger Cats -1.5. They got their win against Ottawa, so we keep rolling in the CFL. And then in UFC, we had Volkanovski to win in round 4 or 5 or by decision, and he won in round 3. It was a knockout. So a 2-in-1 day there. But again, we just keep rolling, just keep putting winning days together, and that is how we go. Okay, before we get into today's bets, I've got the QR code on the screen and the link in the description below. Hit that link. It will take you to a site where you can sign up for any sports book you like and make a minimum deposit. You're guaranteed the best exclusive offers and bonuses thanks to my partnership with BetStamp and with those books directly. Also, the Discord channel. Link is in the description below. We're starting to get some members joining the Discord, and again, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Threads, I'm on all these different social media places, but I feel like Discord's going to become sort of my favorite place to post and just discuss, and we can talk about that stuff specifically, so I'm not going to be, clouding the social media sites with as much sports betting talk now. It'll be more in the Discord stuff, and that's sort of, how we can separate it and whatever. We'll see how it goes, but I'm really liking the Discord. Lots of stuff will be coming up this week for there as well. Okay. Let's start talking about today. We're going to start with baseball, being that it is the last game before the All-Star break, and we're going to start with the Toronto Blue Jays. I've got the Toronto Blue Jays on the money line in the first 5 innings against the Detroit Tigers. I've got this from -114 at FanDuel. A reminder that if it's tied, it's a push. I like these bets a lot because it gives you the leeway there with the push potential. Jays are coming into this one having just got no hit against the Detroit Tigers last night. It was a 2-0 win for the Tigers. It was a combined no-hitter. So I feel bad for Kevin Gossman, man. Could this guy get any run support? This guy gives up... What did he do? Did he even give up a run himself yesterday? And again, they get no hit. I can't imagine that happens again today. The Jays somehow have a better offense than this. They're just not showing it necessarily. You've got Chris Bassett today going against Skubal, who is only in his second start of the season. The Jays are 7-3 in the last 10 meetings against Detroit, as I mentioned. And you've got Chris Bassett, who's been pitching very well as of late. He's gone 6 innings in his last 2 starts. He gave up 3 runs the last time out against the White Sox. The Jays won that. He gave up 0 earned runs against the San Francisco Giants before that. He has won 2 straight starts. Previous to that, it had been a little bit shaky. He gave up 4 to Oakland, 3 to Texas. He gave up 8 to Baltimore. But this is when he's changed and said, I'm not going to call my own pitches anymore. That's going to be up to Jansen or Kirk, which I think has helped out tremendously. I might sneeze here. Woo! Apologies for that. Allergies. And then, like I mentioned, going for Detroit, you've got Tarek Skubal, who has only pitched once so far this season. That was 4 innings. He gave up no earned runs and struck out 6, but it was against Oakland. They lost that start 1-0. He did pitch once last year against the Blue Jays. They lost 6-0. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs while walking 2. I think the Blue Jays bounce back here. Bassett has been rolling as of late. The Jays are better than the Tigers. I think they're going to want to go into the All-Star break on a little bit of a roll. They've got 4 guys going to the All-Star game, so it's always kind of interesting to see what happens that last game before everybody's heading into a break. I don't think any team needs a break more than the Blue Jays, but I do think they are going to want to get this win, especially following up from Manoah's great start. They're sitting 4th in the American League East at 49-41. They should be able to beat the Detroit Tigers. And again, I like the first 5 money line because if it's tied, it is a push. So I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays on the money line in the first 5 innings for minus 114 at FanDuel. Let's go to the CFL where we've been rolling. We've got the 2-1 surprise Montreal Alouettes on the road in British Columbia against the 3-1 BC Lions. The books just will never do a spread higher than 7 or 7.5. I don't really understand why, but they just don't. So I will take the BC Lions minus 7. That is minus 120 at DraftKings. You've obviously got the push potential with the 7. Not quite as important in the CFL versus the NFL because you have a lot more scoring opportunities in the CFL from missed field goals and returns and all that, where 1 or 2 points is very common. But I still do like the round number of 7. Now, the BC Lions, to me, are the second best team, arguably the best team in the CFL, right up there with the Toronto Argos and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They did lose the last time out, so the BC Lions are coming off a 45-24 loss at the hands of Toronto, but previous to that, they decimated Winnipeg, which was surprising, 30-6. They beat Edmonton 20-0, so in those 2 games, it was a combined 52-6 scoring, and then in week 1, they did beat Calgary 25-15. Then you've got Montreal, as I mentioned, they are 2-1. They just lost to Winnipeg 17-3, so they got hammered there. And then their 2 wins are against Hamilton 38-12, who Hamilton is now 1-3 after their win yesterday, and the Ottawa Redblacks 19-12, and Ottawa is also, one of the worst teams as well down there with Edmonton. So the Montreal wins, although their wins haven't been all that impressive, whereas BC has been a very impressive football team. I think coming off that loss at the hands of Toronto, They've hammered teams and they've been hammered. I think this is a bounce back spot against a Montreal team, especially with them being at home. Montreal, as I mentioned, has beat Ottawa and Hamilton. They've looked okay doing so, but now they travel to the West Coast against BC. Weather's obviously not going to be a factor because BC plays in a dome. Cody Fajardo and the Owls will just have to somehow manage to defeat the BC Lions defense, which is very, very good, and I just don't think they're going to be able to do that. BC is the better football team. I like the number of minus 7 very, very much. It's at home. It's a 7 o'clock start all the way out in BC, so it's a day game. So for Montreal, it might feel a little bit weird. So give me the BC Lions minus 7. That's minus 120 at DraftKings. And the last bet of the day, we've got a little bit of a parlay going here in the WNBA. On a Sunday, I've got the Las Vegas Aces and the Dallas Wings on a money line parlay, minus 113 at FanDuel. I'm surprised you're getting odds like this. Vegas is 16-2. Minnesota is 9-9. That's their opponent today. Vegas is playing this game in Minnesota, but they're 16-2, and they're coming off a 2-point loss to Dallas the last time out. So I expect a bounce back win here from Vegas. They're obviously the best team in the WNBA. There's really no debate about that. On the injury front, nothing really to speak of for the Aces. You've got 4 injuries from Minnesota: Mitchell, Shepard, Powers. They're going to struggle. They're going to struggle against Vegas. Now, look, Minnesota has won 5 straight basketball games, and that's brought them to a record of 9-9. They were 4-9, but now they run into Vegas, and even though this game's at home, Vegas just has too much firepower. I can't imagine the Aces lose 2 basketball games in a row. They're minus 1250 on the money line, so if you want to take Minnesota to hedge it, go ahead. But I like the Vegas Aces to get the win here, and then I guess the tougher of the matchups will be the Dallas Wings at the Indiana Fever. Fever are 5-13. Dallas is 9-9, so Dallas is the better team. Coming into this, Dallas has won 3 of their last 4 basketball games. They beat Phoenix, they beat Washington, they lost to Vegas, but then they bounced back and beat Vegas by 2, as I mentioned. And then you've got Indiana, who has lost 6 straight basketball games. They've lost 7 of 10, but again, 6 of those are in a row. So they had won 3 of 4, but now they have since lost 6 straight, and they've lost by 8 to Washington, 7 to Minnesota, 2 to Chicago, 20 to Phoenix, 8 to Vegas, 20 to Vegas. Dallas is just the better basketball team. They are rolling right now. I like for them to get a money line win. It's only minus 130 straight up on the money line, and I do believe that has a lot to do with the fact that this game is being played in Indiana, so we're taking 2 road teams on a money line parlay. Vegas, I just sort of needed something to pair with Vegas. I'm not going to take Vegas on the spread. It's minus 14.5, which I don't love, but I'm confident that the Dallas Wings are playing much better basketball, and we're just going to bet the trends on this one. Yesterday, we went against the trend, betting on Hamilton to get the win. If you wanted to do that today and say, you know what, I think Indiana is on a 6-game losing streak. They're a decent basketball team. They're going to win this game. I'm just going to go with the trend there. I'm going to take the Dallas Wings. So I've got the Vegas Aces and the Dallas Wings moneyline parlay for for -113 at FanDuel. As I mentioned, if you want to grab any of these odds at these books, hit the QR code or the link in the description below. That will take you to a site where you can sign up for DraftKings, FanDuel, any other book. Make a minimum deposit, and you're guaranteed the best exclusive offers or bonuses. And again, join the Discord channel to talk about sports throughout today. So those are your 3 bets for today. Give me the Toronto Blue Jays on the money line in the first 5 innings for -114 at FanDuel. Give me the BC Lions to cover -7 for -120 at DraftKings. And the WNBA, I've got a money line parlay. Vegas Aces, Dallas Wings -113 at FanDuel. As always, drop a comment if you're fading or following. You can follow me across all my social media channels and in the Discord. And have a great Sunday. Let's talk sports.